I am Karen Burke Silva from Flinders University. I am a professor of biodiversity and conservation there. I run several citizen science projects. One of them I'm going to spruik before we get the other one up, which is we are going to be running the Great Koala Count starting next week. This is a part of the National Koala Monitoring Program run by SciStarter, and we will be counting koalas across the state for a whole week starting next Saturday. So look out for information and please spot the koalas if you can. This project that I'm about to tell you about was a federal government funded project. The idea was to look at bushfire recovery on Kangaroo Island post 2020 Black Summer bushfires. The aim of the project was to look at how biodiversity changed after the bushfires, but it was also to look at some economic recovery to the island as well, because the island depends a lot on tourists. That's it. Yep. Perfect. Oh, there we go. So the project started back in 2022 when we released the first of 12 different projects. Each project is aligned with a scientist. We ran a bit of a citizen science incubation hub at the university because most of the scientists had never run a citizen science project before. So in order to help them understand how to get quality data, how to get buy-in, that sort of thing, we kind of helped each of those scientists with the program. We engaged with community on the island, basically to get businesses involved so that if people participated in one of our projects, they would win reward points that would give them some discounts at local businesses, kind of trying to drive business economic recovery as well. We were a bit ambitious, trying to design and run 12 projects in a 3-year period. I must say that I probably almost had a nervous breakdown doing that, but we actually did achieve that goal. The last project was rolled out just in May this year. So some of our projects have data for the last 3 years, whereas other projects are just gaining new data now. The aim of our project was to not reach typical citizen scientists. And as we know, most citizen scientists are university-educated people who have a lot of knowledge and background in science to start with. So we really wanted to target those people who may not have any science background. So this project targets tourists. And when we did the survey of these tourists, most of them didn't have any science background at all. Okay, so we're really hitting that market. All right, let me go to the next page. One of the first things we got our tourists to do was take a pledge to Kangaroo Island. We're trying to showcase the importance of Kangaroo Island as a place where a lot of endemic species are, where people get to understand the importance of being an environmental steward. So we really put that up front. You had to sign the pledge as you went into the website, so they really had to read and understand what they were doing and the care we wanted them to give to Kangaroo Island when they got there. We also wanted to let them know, because many of our tourists were actually international people who might not know much about the cultures and the Aboriginal communities here. So we also did an acknowledgement to country. Yes, so 12 different projects. We rolled them out in years 1, 2, and 3 of this major program. We've had quite good uptake of the projects. Our main industry collaborator is SeaLink, which is the ferry provider that goes to Kangaroo Island. They have handed out our physical passports to every single person who's gone to the island. The engagement through that has been quite huge because of that support with SeaLink. We have at least 20 businesses, local businesses on the island that are working with us to give out these reward points. Some of the businesses hold some of our citizen science projects as well. So they might have one of the native bee nests on their site, and they're promoting people to take part in that activity when they're visiting the business. We have, let me just run through quickly a couple of the projects. C-Link is also where people will take their sample kits and put it back so that we can then collect it and bring it back to Adelaide for analyses. So just quickly a few projects. This one is called Dirty Boots, where we're looking at the movement of Phytophthora across the island post-bushfire. Did it actually stop the movement or not? We've got some of the data showing here. We were looking at where koalas are found on the island now. They used to be restricted to this yellow fireburnt zone. Now we're finding them across the whole island, and there are a few koalas now moving back into that fire area. So, you know, what's happening? Not only are we getting people to look for koalas, but we're then getting them to actually find out what behaviors they're doing, talk to them a little bit about the ecology of that animal as well. But it's the mapping that's telling us about recovery into that fire zone. Smart Nest, this is, we work with electronic engineers in this case, so instead of putting out one of these wooden boxes, it's a wooden box with technology, so we can actually find out how many insects are going in and out of the nest, what kind of insects it is. We then allow people when they leave the island to keep engaging with this project, and they're identifying pollen that is being found in the tubes and that sort of thing as well. I won't go through every single one of the projects. This is the latest project that we've just released. We have 3D printed these really big cement blocks where we put in a native oyster restoration reef. This is a big South Australian project, but all the reefs that have been put out there are so far offshore that citizens don't have a chance to even explore them and see what's going on. So this is a snorkelable reef. People walk off the beach from Kingscote. We found that abalone babies are now attaching themselves to the reef, and as of November, that's when the oysters start coming in, so we're going to do a lot of monitoring to observe that. Okay, I'll move on. These are all the different projects. Roadkill is a big problem on Kangaroo Island, and people are mapping where that's happening. You can also see there's some roadkill coming back into the fire scar area as well, which is an indication that kangaroos especially are moving back in there. Anyway, I can't go through all the projects, but we've had really good uptake across the board. I've had people emailing me from the United States saying we only came to Australia to do this project, which was unbelievable, yeah. And we also have people from Canada saying that they want to implement some of these similar kinds of focused projects. Let's go to a place, let's do a number of things together, and let's put, you know, like a whole citizen science thing together at one time. So yeah,